This is Susan Wilbanks with blendedinsight.com. I am a holistic and integrative healing arts practitioner, an intuitive, and an energy healer. In this podcast, I share tips, tools, and suggestions that have helped me along my path in hopes of inspiring and helping you along yours. Let's get started with today's podcast topic. Hello, bright soul. Thank you for joining me on another podcast. Thank you for leaving me reviews, subscribing to my podcast, my YouTube channel, recommending my work, and connecting with me. I appreciate you more than you know. I wanted to start off by saying that. And also, I wanted to just thank everyone for the light that they're bringing onto the planet right now, doing your meditation practice, doing your very best to work on yourself and make the most of this time. I know it's difficult, but this work, it's important and it's worth it. So I appreciate all that you are doing. And with that said, I'm just going to dive into today's podcast topic, and that is detaching from the outcome. This is relevant for any time. Relationships, objects, circumstances, situations. And it came up for me a little bit over the last couple of weeks just because so many people are in angst about what's going to happen. When are we going to go back to normal? Are we going to go back to normal? And getting really anxious about it because a lot of people's lives have been really impacted. You know, mine included, all of us, we've been impacted some way. And so the more that it came up, the more I started remembering when I was in my mindfulness meditation practice. We did a whole course on the 7 spiritual laws and just looking at the different laws. Deepak Chopra has a book, 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. You know, there's different views and different ways of explaining the same type of stuff. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about detaching from the outcome, because what's happening is that the angst and the wanting to control and predict causes so much resistance. And I'm raising my hand. I do it too. You know, there's been times when I find something or meet someone or get a job or want a job where I get really laser focused on my result that I want. And I don't know if you've ever had this happen where you want something so bad and you just laser focus on it that you miss so many things along the way, better opportunities, experiences, just being on the journey because you're so laser focused and trying to force an outcome. And so it's a good reminder for all of us that when we become overly attached to an outcome, it's a very rigid and narrow-minded view. And what happens is it actually comes from a scarcity and a fear-based mindset, because when we really want something or we get really attached to something, we're afraid that we're going to lose it. And so I've noticed this in relationships, working with people in my own relationships at times where one partner is so attached that they start to get very controlling and that desperate kind of clingy energy. And it's repelling to the other person because it doesn't feel good. It feels very forced and resistant. And so our job and our challenge at this time is to really pay very close attention to the way that we are feeling, the way that we are thinking, to see, am I feeling anxious about a certain situation? Am I feeling worse about it because I am so focused on a certain outcome that I want? And forgetting that I am not alone on this planet. The universe is taking care of me. I'm part of a collective whole. And there are many infinite possibilities that can happen. Miracles happen every day. Lots of things can happen, but I am outside of the creative flow if I'm rigidly attached to something that I feel should be happening. And a lot of times that's very ego-based. It's not a higher self function, because when we are intuitively in the flow, everything just feels a little bit easier. And even though there's challenges going on, you feel so connected. I don't know if you've ever had that experience where you just feel so connected and you are almost excited to see how things are going to unfold, because you know that just in your narrow-minded view, you know, you don't have a full collective picture that a universal energy would have. And so it's an act of surrendering. So you still have goals. I'm not saying quit and just don't do anything. You still have goals and you still have an intention, but you're willing to flow and bend and shift and change if something else comes along. So that's really what I'm talking about here. I was listening to Deepak Chopra recently, and I heard him say that problems are seeds of opportunity. And obstacles are seeds of opportunity because it gives you the opportunity to step into the infinite unknown and be excited about how solutions may come forward and things will unfold. But when we try to force solutions with a limited viewpoint of our past experiences or what we think the right thing should be, we block ourselves and we pinch ourselves off. As Abraham Hicks would say, we pinch ourselves off from the universal flow. And so what I would really just encourage you to do is get really good at how you're feeling at this time. One of the best ways that I know in the moment to release anxiety and resistance is breathing. I know I talk about breathing a whole lot, but I love conscious breath work. And because I've done it for so long, I know the breathing pattern, so I can immediately just do that. Nobody else has to know that I'm doing that. I can use just nose breathing instead of mouth breathing and breathe into that anxiety and let it go. And one of my favorite affirmations that I learned so many years ago from Louise Hay was this or something better. So if I'm getting really attached to a certain, outcome, job, or whatever, I can just remind myself that I can have this or something better. I didn't come this far to just get this far. There's something bigger taking place. I'm part of a collective whole. So let me focus on what feels good to me. And this is a time for me to deepen my spiritual practice and increase my faith. And if I'm focusing on it too much, I will do activities that cause me to focus on that activity and get out of the resistance of whatever it is that I'm focused on. So exercise. If I'm exercising really hard, I'm not really thinking about anything else because I am focused on the activity at hand. So I talk about that a lot. It's really a way of just stop energizing the issue that you're worrying about and start focusing on something else. And that's really helpful. And I know sometimes meditating is hard. If you're very bothered by something, meditation can be difficult because you end up meditating on that very thing that's bothering you. And so that's why I like walking meditations, breathing, conscious breathing, because when you're doing the breathwork pattern, you kind of forget about whatever it is that you were thinking about and you still get in an altered state. And that's where we're trying to get, and you still get connected. So there's lots of different ways. You have to find out what works for you. That's why there's so many different methods out there, because there's billions of people and we all find something that works perfectly for us at any given time. And it may shift, throughout the years. My teachers have shifted. The things that I'm drawn to have shifted. That's how we evolve. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's just more about finding what works for you. And then I remind myself that I am here to flow. I'm not here to resist. I want to get in the flow. And so a lot of times, it was last week, I guess, ladies will know what I'm talking about. When it gets close to that time of the month, whatever you haven't dealt with for that month, it comes up to be healed. And that's something I learned from Dr. Christian Northrup. So if I've been dealing with too much all month long, right before it's my time of month, oh my gosh, I have no tolerance. It's just gone and everything just blows up. And I know that's my indicator to say, wait a minute, what have I not dealt with for this month? And what do I need to do to take good care of myself and to release this and let it go? And so, I got my daughter home right now. I have a lot of things going on, a lot of moving parts, a lot of people that need my attention. Work is really busy. And I'm still doing I've been really good about exercising, meditation practice, being generous in my heart, creating good karma, all of that. But there was, certain things. It's just a time thing that I guess I couldn't deal with it. So I don't know. I had like one of those days where it's just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to explode. And so what did I do for myself to address that, get in the flow, relax? I took a salt bath, and it was like the salt bath of all salt baths. Probably the whole ocean was in that bathtub. I did lots of salt, and I did Epsom salt, and I put lavender in it, and I put energy healing in it, and I ohmed it and did everything you could possibly do, and got in the bath so that I could clear anything off of whatever was going on. And it was like a miracle. It was like an absolute miracle. It regrounded me, reshifted me. And so sometimes you've got to find other ways to get to where you feel your best and you're connected. And this is a really good time to do those things. What else do I want to add? When you detach, you feel really empowered. when you are attached to an outcome, it feels so helpless because you feel like you're wanting to control and you have all that anxiety. So when I notice myself doing that, and I can sometimes even do this in relationships where I'm like, oh, I want this to happen or whatever. And so when I notice that in myself, it's like, whoop, what's going on here? Is this based on a past experience? Am I trying to force an outcome? Wait a minute. I have to remind myself that I am complete just as I am. I will be guided. For work, I have all the skills I continue to develop. So what is mine will find me. I'll continue to develop and do the work. I'm not just sitting back and doing nothing. I have goals, but at the end of the day, I trust and believe that I'll be taken care of. And all of the good work that I've done, it will come back to me. And I trust that I will align with the right person at the right time because it's always worked that way in the past. And so I look at it as each obstacle, each problem is just a step in my unfolding. It is a process. It's an evolution. It's the way that we grow. And so I really try to shift into embracing uncertainty because nothing really is certain. And instead of looking at past experiences from a negative standpoint and getting desperate, I look at it from a standpoint of I've survived that and I can survive whatever else is coming. So I hope that helps. I want to do a healing with you, of course. More cleaning you for this healing, and then we'll do some energy healing too. So I know this is a quick one, but I just wanted to hop on and say that. So let's just dive into the healing. I don't have anything else to say on this topic. So go ahead and uncross your arms and legs if you can. Just begin to focus on your breathing and receive the healing. And I'm going to run some shields. And I am grounding you. Also cutting cords. Okay, and so it is. Okay, so that is all I have. I want to thank you again for your feedback and for your connection and your kindness. I appreciate it more than you know. If you haven't left me a review, please do so on iTunes. Also, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I would so appreciate that. And get on my mailing list, blendedinsight.com. Go down to the newsletter and get on my mailing list. You will receive a download to my free healing list by topic. And that's where I send all of my updates. I haven't done it in a while, but I will. When I have something to send out, I do. Definitely don't flood people's inbox with messages just because that annoys me, so I won't do it to anyone else. And with that said, I wish you a beautiful week. Stay bright, stay positive, stay focused, detach from the outcome, take really good care of yourself. And I send you all my love. Take care. Bye-bye.